Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Going On Daily Live Morning Show
Oof.
Saturday edition. Yay! I like,
Yes, exactly.
everybody wake up, get your
Woo.
coffee, watch us. And us consists of the one time that a week where I get to speak to my friend, Lena Williams. Good morning, Lena.
Ira, how have you been? How are you? We just had this
Uh,
conversation. How are you? How are you doing? What's going on? What's
but
new?
but we were just talking about, do you really want to know, or are
Well,
you
see,
just filling time?
I know you, and we have a conversation every week. So I actually do want to know because it's
Okay.
within context. So tell me.
Well, last week I didn't get to do the show because, at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I think there's a couple of sounds you don't want to hear.
Hmm.
You don't want your phone to ring because that usually means jail or death.
Right.
You don't want your smoke alarm to go off, right?
Hmm.
And you don't want to hear your dog going.
Right.
Anybody who has a pet knows
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
sound.
No animals
So
throwing up. That's disgusting,
yeah,
and it's concerning. Could
it
be.
is, and after waiting a while, had to go to the emergency vet, and she's home. She's sleeping on the bed as usual, but
Hmm.
we're waiting for all the tests to come back. I had to change her food. I had to, where more tests are coming, and
Yeah.
it's just scary that they don't get to live as long as we do. That's what I'm
No.
going through right
But I will say this. I'm glad
now.
that they don't live longer than us
Yes,
so that they are never without us. And that
absolutely.
is as sappy as I'm going to get today.
That
But it's true.
is as happy as I've ever heard you get.
I want my dog to live one day less than me forever, but one day less than me. So that way my dog never has to know life without me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you wouldn't be too sad because it would be just one day
I wouldn't
without
know
your
that
dog.
though. Like I wouldn't know that, but I don't care because I'd much rather go through the grief of losing my dog than having to have my dog go through it. So I had to choose, right? I,
I'm
you know,
with you.
so
Now I'm thinking of, during the pre-show when we
yeah,
were all talking, I said, JP was supposed to be here, but unfortunately he won't be here with us. He'll be there, I believe, tomorrow with Ron and Kenny. And I
right.
said, oh, so Lena has one topic and I have one topic. So it's a short show. And Ron just laughed. He's like, you two do a short show?
Yeah, like the two of us, like I don't know, with one topic and then an extra person, like that's dangerous. That's like a 2 hour risk right there. So I think
So sit back and relax and enjoy however long this show goes on
I
and
know
whatever path it takes, right?
not happening exactly. So
But the
I'm
first thing we
reading
have to
Ron's
do,
comment over there.
uh,
Yeah.
the first thing we have to do though,
Hmm.
is we have to tell people about our social media and how they can watch and how they can share. Now,
Hmm.
if you're watching us live, you can either watch us through YouTube or Rumble or Kick. And for either one of those, you go to at Rhode Island Broadcasting. If you're watching us on Twitch, it's Twitch at RI underscore broadcasting. Now that's video. You can just listen to us.
Hmm.
You don't have to look at our lovely faces. That's fine. We're not offended. No,
Nope.
a little bit, a little tear. For audio, you can go to Spotify, Red Circle, TuneIn, or iHeartRadio, and that is at RI Broadcasting. Now, of course, we have social media. You can spread about the show, tell people this is the show you want to see or hear.
Hmm.
And our socials, we're on TikTok, we're on MeWe, we're on Blue Sky, we're on Parlor, we're on LinkedIn, and all of those can be found at RI Broadcasting. Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, it's at Broadcasting RI. According to Ron, we are live on X. So definitely watch on X. Our show, the Going On Daily Live Morning Show, we have our own page on Facebook. So go visit that. It's at Going On Daily Morning Show. Of course, if you really, if you're a good fan of the show, and there are a few of you out there, go to
Hmm.
Patreon. You can buy some stuff and really support the show. For that, you go to Patreon at RI Broadcasting. And if you are totally confused and you go, he went too fast, I don't know. Okay, calm down. Go to our website, RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. Don't go to .com. Go RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. You will see all the shows that are on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network that we're a part of and happy to be a part of.
Right.
That's right. The Hall of Fame voting. Now you can vote for that. They have the best TV shows of all time, and the results of the voting will be tomorrow. Your choice, if you want to go there: Cheers, Happy Days, Golden Girls, MASH, or Married with Children. By the way, I've watched all five. Lena, are you a viewer of all five?
I am.
Let's
Probably
see.
MASH is the one I don't remember as much because it was so much younger, but I watched it every night because that was the supper, the dinner bell for anybody in
Yep,
my generation.
7 o'clock.
It's time to sit at the table and eat. So, yeah, I watched all of them.
Oh my god, I watch MASH. There's now I'm blanking on the network, the Me Network, I want to say, for older
Oh,
shows.
recently? Oh, for the
Yeah,
the reruns.
and
Yeah.
I will come home and first of all, it was a great show. Writing was
Mm-hmm.
amazing. It's very
Yeah.
funny. But I'm watching it now because every episode you'll find somebody who go, "Oh my god, I didn't realize that person started on that show,"
I
and
know. All the
it's
old shows
amazing
are
for
like
them.
that, with everybody that's a guest star or that comes on is like some unknown, but now they're like this huge star, and you're like, nobody knew him then. I mean, it's just the way it is. So it is crazy to go back. Even
Absolutely,
I've been going through a little bit of a Mad About You obsession lately. I don't know
oh,
why,
love that.
but that's one of my favorite shows. I love like a really like rich dialogue. I just love really good writing. And Mad
Yeah,
About You had that. Murphy Brown had that. Like some of those shows had just really intelligent writing and media oriented stuff. Is interesting to me too. So, but some of the Will and Grace is another one. But some of the people that show up and just guest star, especially back in Mad About You days, were like a lot of them went on to be huge, and nobody knew. They were
absolutely.
just some person that did 2 episodes back then. So it's kind of crazy, but yeah.
I do love that.
Yeah,
Today, I can't believe it. It's November 1st.
I know. It's
We're
crazy.
it's a couple weeks from Thanksgiving. Christmas is less than 2 months.
Mhm.
See, I have to say it now because now it's November. Have you actually even thought about a Christmas list?
No, but I don't have a Christmas list at this point. There's really nobody like I don't have a huge amount of people to buy for anyway.
Well, it's still
It's just me and
but
my
it's
sister. My
people.
sister and I are we're in a different place right now where we're trying to just deal with like some issues with real estate and whatever. So
Oh,
we're skipping Christmas, but we're both pretty practical people who my sister and I buy gifts for each other and not wrap them. We're just people like that. We're just like, you wanted this, you said
nothing
you
wrong
wanted
with
this,
that.
here it is. So we don't go all crazy. My mother used to, but yeah. So I don't really have, and I work on Christmas Day anyway. So um,
Of course, you're in
you know,
music. Yeah, there's a party out there, and that's who you
well,
call. You call Lena Williams.
right. Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day, like any weekday. Actually, I have my tech job, and that's if it falls on a weekday, I work it because I make so much overtime.
Oh God,
So
I would do that in a heartbeat. I
yeah.
think I would.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a quiet day. You're pretty much home anyway. I mean, like I said, most of my family is gone at this point or out of state. So
This
anyway,
is going to
yeah,
be the first year my sister and my brother-in-law moved out of state.
right,
My niece moved farther away. My daughter's a little farther away.
yeah.
So this is going to be the first year where I'm actually flying down to Florida
Oh, okay,
for Thanksgiving,
yeah,
and I had no choice but to fly on the day itself.
yeah.
That's
It's
going to be
crazy.
fun.
It will be actually. I don't know. I've heard most of the time the same day. It's usually a little bit quieter, so
I'm
you won't have
hoping.
as much craziness in the airports and all that. Like for whatever reason, I think because everybody's already there, people go a couple days early, and hopefully you'll have a nice peaceful.
Uh, Well, usually, I mean, I've gotten used to a peaceful Thanksgiving to me where it's been
Mm-hmm.
because we went through the COVID years, and unfortunately,
Yeah.
somebody had COVID for like 2 years in a row, a different person.
Right.
And so for 2 years, I cooked my own meal
Mm-hmm.
and I laid on my couch and I was lazy and watched all the football games.
Yep.
And I thought to myself, while I do miss family, this is not a bad way to go.
That's the life of an introvert. That's pretty much what we every single holiday where we're just like, oh, do I want to walk into a group of 30 people? Not really.
Maybe
This is
not,
like we
maybe.
like this. We like comfort shows and a turkey dinner and the remote, and that's it. That's maybe a nice hike in the morning. That's it.
Oh, that would be nice too.
Yeah.
I am going to tell you, and I'm going to give everybody a little hint right now, a little life
Mm-hmm.
hack. Everybody has their phones with them constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So there are notes apps on there that you can keep your thoughts organized. I listen throughout the year. So if somebody says something like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, you know what? I could use this. I could use that." When Christmas time comes, I just write it down. I did a list for the first time in 5 minutes this year. I had
Yeah.
something for everybody. I was done and within
Nice.
budget.
Very nice.
So that's what I recommend for you. Also, what I recommend is to listen to our show. It is, like I said, November 1st. Here's what we want you to know. And apparently, always remember because Lena, your first story is about
I
memorable
know.
songs.
We're going so. I'm just in one of those old school moods right now, or within the past
Cool.
few days, and just like jumping around. And it dawned on me. I wasn't sure what we were gonna do for a topic. Remember we talked about we might be left over on Halloween, but it was yesterday.
Yeah.
So, and so I was just kind of listening to a song and going, man, if I'm out somewhere and a specific song comes on, I will like disassociate with the person I'm talking to. And as a DJ, every single song that we ever played ever has a good intro, so we're not even like reliable as far as like what are the best ones,
Okay.
right? But it's the question is like what are the more memorable intros to a song that where you're like absolutely positively I know what that song is. I hear it
Oh.
even in the background or just something like the first 20 seconds of a song or the first 15 seconds of a song or not even
Hmm.
that that it's just unmistakable. There's no song like it. Some of these have been used in songs like after the fact because they're so memorable that they make good samples. And so it was just kind of like going through all of that last night. Now some of the ones that I found in my research, right? Because I have to do research. I can't. My brain it will go berserk if I try to like
Right.
pull these things. There's way too many that I've heard. Some of the ones that most people have said are um, pretty memorable. One of them was, I believe that was "Long Time" by Boston, but I can't remember whatever we had up in that first visual, the first graphic that we had up. I'm sure Ron will tell me in a minute. But actually, most of Boston's songs of Foreplay. All right,
There's
so I
Boston.
call
There
it
we go.
Foreplay, but also Long Time because I think I'm used to hearing them as one long piece. And so when you look at the actual title and label on the record, which I'm old enough to have remember, that's what's on that record. I think is Foreplay Long Time. Anyway, um, it is one song, but it. I don't know. I think I feel like it was broken up at some point for radio stations, but maybe it wasn't. Anyway, and I said to you earlier, the boys from MIT, because that's what Boston is,
Right.
And you said boys from MIT are here. I'm like, well, they're not really,
I
but
didn't get
anyway,
it. That's a point. Yeah.
some of the ones that people have said, and they're kind of separated by the arrangement that the whatever instrument you're hearing. There's a
Okay.
whole lot of general ones here. Hold on, let me get my little list together. And most guitar uh, that I can list here, one of them will be Crazy Train. I mean, everybody knows Crazy Train. That's really a bass line. I
Yes.
started going, well, it's kind of guitar, but not really. It's more of a bass line, but there's a good reverb on it. So there's a bunch of stuff going on in that. But that's something that if you hear that, you're going to be like, I know what that is.
Yes.
And so we all have our own, right? Under Pressure is another one,
Under
unless you've
Pressure.
listened to. Yep.
I'm
So
holding on to my top 3 to see if it's
yeah,
on your list.
you go right ahead. I don't actually. I had a hard time creating a list of countdown, so I'm not going to do that because I would have just still
Okay.
been. I would have still been downstairs trying to do that today. So it's kind of like, I'm just going to toss a few out, and everybody can discuss their favorite. So my list, Crazy on You is an absolute, for me, I absolutely love the beginning of Crazy on You. I don't know if I don't know how you feel about that, but I love that.
I'm
It
trying
just
to
like,
think of the beginning because I know I go right to the chorus.
right.
When you say
Yeah,
that.
it's like the first few chords, and it's the same way with Barracuda.
Oh
It's the
yes,
same way. It's a different feel, but it's still got that. It's an amazing intro, both of them. Let's
Barracuda.
Get It On is unmistakable.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's
absolutely.
guitarish, and so I threw it in there. Seven Nation Army is another one. It's drum and it's bass, but it is a string instrument. Back in Black is unmistakable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably most of ACD stuff, especially Thunderstruck. I mean, not everybody. If you didn't, I mean, that's a
Oh,
Dallas Cowboy cheerleader thing, so that's probably their fault that happened. But
well, you could go with anything from the Who, pretty much. It's
really,
just
yeah,
like, and
but exactly,
instantly.
exactly. And so that's part of it. That was, again, like, there's so many that I like lost track and I stopped listing because I can't, as a DJ, I cannot narrow it down to a list that anybody can help. Like, I'm very too much analytical stuff. One of my absolute favorite intros, and it has to be the 8-minute version, and it has to be the album version, is Money for Nothing. Money for Nothing is like one of the best intros ever. But it has to be,
The
there's a little
8 minute, it's a
teeny
long
3.5
extended
version
play.
that they dropped it down to for radio that's awful. Not
Mm-hmm.
awful, but it's missing a lot of good stuff. And that song has so much great stuff, from Sting to the keyboard coming in to, I mean, it's just a really good song. Barracuda we mentioned. Brown Eyed Girl's another one. That's one of those, they
One of
put
my
it in
favorite songs.
movies. If you
Yeah.
go to a wedding, you're gonna hear it. It's just one of those songs that anywhere you are, and can be used for so many different things.
Well, let me see if I can give you one, and I'm pretty sure you'll get it right away, and I don't
Mhm.
even need an
Oh,
instrument by going.
are you gonna hum? Oh yeah, so that's a drum, and I actually put that in a drum list.
We Will
But
Rock
that is
You
Queen. We Will
goes
Rock
right
You.
into it.
Yep, exactly. And the song came out and it was great, but then I don't know if we were all old enough to remember the 70s where that just became a crazy sports thing for
Yes.
like 20 years or something. And so everybody did it or sang it or used it for football games and things like that. Johnny B. Good is a very distinct guitar opening.
Yeah.
So I listed that here. And that would be Chuck Berry, of course, although Michael J. Fox is fine too, if that's what you want to do. Sweet Child of Mine is another one that opens up.
I was waiting. That was my number one.
Yeah. Sweet Child of Mine is a big one. Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll. I mean, that. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
That has I think, an intro that you cannot mistake, and everybody knows. I don't like some of this band stuff, but Under the Bridge is a big one.
Chili Peppers, yeah.
That's my sister's song. I'm not really I'm not a big Chili Peppers after a certain amount of time song. I kind of like their early stuff, like Give It Away and stuff like that. But there's a later, more maudlin Red Hot Chili Peppers that came later that I wasn't as excited about. Eye of the Tiger is unmistakable. Right, and that's also another one that's been used for so many different things that I'm trying to think of, but like it was rolled under sports games. It was, there was just so many things that they used that for that you can't not know it unless you live under a rock. The Kings, You Really Got Me.
3 or 4 more I have.
Right. The Kings, You Really Got Me is kind of, either Kinks or I love the David Lee Roth version. I love the Van Halen version. I don't know if anybody else does, but
it comes in harder. That's why.
Yeah, it just it had a little bit of a twist on it too. I mean, Eddie Van Halen was amazing. So, and then Stairway to Heaven is a very distinct
That was on the
guitar
list. Yes.
start, right? So those are the ones I throw on. This is just guitar. I have not moved on to synthesizers.
Oh God.
That's why one topic is fine for me today. And these are just the ones I'm listing because of what the intros were. I didn't list all of them. I'm sure you have a favorite that I didn't. Yep, Tainted Love is one of them.
Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit.
That's guitar.
I know. I
It is
just
guitar.
2 seconds in,
Mhm.
and I think the king, and I believe it's probably bass, but what is the ultimate? People use it as a punchline. Da, 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 da,
Right.
da, da, da,
I
Smoke on the
mean, Deep
Water.
Purple is a big one. Like, if you can't know what that is coming in, like, forget it, right? And like I said, I ran out of my list, kept going in guitar, and I'm like, I'll just be here all day.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I'm throwing out enough that people will have their own suggestions, but excuse me, synthesizer that I can think of, or piano, or that kind of thing. Obviously, Piano Man is a big one.
No, didn't
You
even
know,
think of that. Yes.
Take on Me by Aha is a big one. Because that comes in. That's all synth. Even the drums are. Barbara O'Reilly, because you mentioned the Who, and that's kind of another one that's got all that, right? And most of like the Pinball Wizard album, for God's sake, right? It's pretty much that stuff.
Yes.
Not my favorite, but anyway, Tommy is what it is, right? So Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics, that's a huge one that comes in synthesizer.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
I threw Purple Rain in here. I'm not really sure why it's here because when you think about it, Purple Rain is really more guitar. So that's my fault. I put it in the wrong place. The Final Countdown is amazing. That's the first. That's a very early synthesizer. Oh yeah, they throw that in commercials and stuff like that. The thing that's unfortunate about this is that I don't get to play samples because that would have been great, but it just would have been so much of an undertaking, and we could have probably been sued for it. So I didn't do that, but that would have been great. One of the other synthesizer intros that like everybody knows when they hear it is Jump.
Yes.
You know, Jump is like a big one, and I would say Don't Stop Believing as well because that comes in piano. You know, and again, I didn't list everyone there in the world that there ever was. Drum-based intros, right? We Will Rock You was on that list. When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin is a really good drum intro.
Yeah.
You know, same with, I mean, Led Zeppelin had a few of them. Rock and Roll's another one. Come Together by the Beatles. And you know what? Even Aerosmith. That had kind of some drums in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, Young Folks by Bjorn and John. Now, I don't know if you remember that song.
I don't know.
You've got to hear it. It actually has a, if you hear it, you'll know it because it has a whistle in it.
Okay.
And a lot of people didn't know. A lot of people don't know who the artist of that is. It's like they've heard the sample, but they run it in different places, but they don't really know what the original artist is. So the whole song is great.
I Want Candy by Bow Wow.
I Want Candy is a great one. That has like a really good drum intro. You know. Yeah, it's like do. There's nothing. It's just all drums in the beginning, and then the guitar comes in. And unfortunately, my brain has all of this stuff in a catalog. Umbrella by Rihanna is another one that comes in, and you're like, all right, I know what this is. You know, it's a little bit of a newer song, and we're old fogies, but if you've heard Umbrella, you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Low Rider is a good drum intro. You don't sound very impressed by, or you don't look very impressed by that, but War's Low Rider.
No, I know it.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to think. I'm like, and there's one particular band that I'm like, oh, she hasn't said it yet.
No, and I might not because, like I said, I'm never.
That's fine.
I didn't cover everybody. Hot for Teacher has an amazing drum solo.
That was the one I was thinking.
That comes in, almost like it's so crazy that it almost sounds like a motorcycle. If you haven't heard it, I don't know where you've been living, but that's one of the best ones, and that's why it is right. Another one, Bites the Dust. It's kind of a bassy, but it does have a lot of drum in it. Walk This Way starts with drums. That's one of the most,
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about
recognizable
that.
songs. And that's both, obviously, Aerosmith is Aerosmith, and Run DMC isn't really Run DMC. It's the same thing because they just sampled it. So Aerosmith is the original, right?
You got that gentleman that we have an icon of,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jackson. Can you pick what song I'm thinking?
Everybody, the only one everybody ever wants to hear that has a drum solo or that has a drum beginning has got to be Billie Jean. That's
There you
listed
go.
there. However, I would say that Smooth Criminal ain't too bad either.
Dun, 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 dun,
So,
dun, dun.
but again, that does have some synthesizer in it. Don't You Forget About Me by the Simple Minds. That comes in
Oh
drum.
God.
And like I
Yes.
said, I don't. This is all stuff that I'm so used to hearing in my head that most people are like, oh, I didn't really. Superstition's another one. Superstition comes in all drums before the guitar hits. It comes in about maybe 8 or 16 beats. This is my nerdy self, right? And then Billie Jean does other memorable intros. You said Billie Jean, so I'm not gonna say that again. I Feel Good by James Brown comes in real good. Everybody knows what it is. Everybody immediately recognizes it. Careless Whisper's another one. Basket Case by Green Day has a great.
Yes.
I mean, it's
Yes.
a very unmistakable. California Love has a really great intro.
Dun, 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 dun.
And then Papa Roach's Last Resort, which is one of my favorite things to sing,
Oh God.
is great when it comes in. Uptown Funk comes in mostly with a
That's
sampler
pretty
that just
hot.
loops.
Yeah.
Same thing with All For You by Janet Jackson. Excuse me. Mambo Number 5 comes in very distinct.
Dun, dun.
Right. And so these are the ones that I just plucked out of. I went through some lists and I went, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. And then, like I said, there was so much stuff that I gave up because I was tired and I'm like, I could do this forever. Some of my favorite intros. This is personal now. Your Love by Outfield. Absolutely. I love it. Yes, I can't. It's just the beginning of that song. It's like a battle cry for like Gen X people, I think. One of the ones that if I'm somewhere and I hear it and I'm in the middle of something and it will yank me right out of that is Tom Sawyer every single time.
That's the one I was waiting for.
Yeah, Tom Sawyer is an absolute. I mean, most of Rush's. I'm a Rush fan, but most of their stuff is good. But Tom Sawyer is just there's something about, especially at a really nice loud volume, is amazing.
Yeah.
Sailing by Christopher Cross. Now I know that you think that's crazy, but if some of these songs have like intros on them that are almost separate and apart from the song. And if you listen to the beginning of Sailing, it's
Sailing. Yeah.
I don't know. It's an intro that everybody's heard. They may not even know what song it goes to because, like I said, it's like a little piece that's a separate from when the song kicks in and the guitar comes up. Natural High. Natural High by, oops, I didn't write that down because I thought I would know it by today. Hold on one second. That's one of those songs that if you hear it, it's an amazing 70s tune. And it's Bloodstone. Oh, I need to wake up. Bloodstone. It's kind of a one-hit wonder, but when you have a minute to listen to it, it has a really cool like guitar-y feeling to it that doesn't have anything to do with the song, but it's very cool to listen to. Don't Take Me Alive by Steely Dan is one of my favorite intros.
Oh,
and a lot of Steely Dan stuff has good intros, but for some reason, the guitar that kicks in on that song is crazy for me. All right.
And on 3rd Street Promenade, they showed the World Series. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Little show games. That's pretty cool when they have outings where you let the people gather around.
That is pretty cool.
There is one song that you haven't mentioned yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting for it.
Okay.
It involves Phil Collins.
Oh, I mean, yeah, In the Air Tonight.
There you go. See?
But
That's why I
also,
was like, let's play a little game. All I have to
in
do
the
is give
drum
you the name
solos,
of
you
the
might want to
artist.
throw "I Don't Care Anymore" because that has an amazing drum solo. And while we're talking about Phil Collins, let's do "There's Something Going On" by Frida, who was previously an ABBA member, but he did all her drums on that song, and that's has a great song. When it comes in, there's a great drum solo there. "All Right" by Janet Jackson has a really kind of specific sound to it when it comes in. "Papa Was a Rolling Stone" is one that when I grew up, that yep, when you hear it, it literally goes on. I think the intro for that song is it's I don't know if it's a minute long, but it's long. Before the actual I didn't get into sax intros, but you could go
Oh
ahead,
my
Ron.
God.
Yeah, because I just started to get to be I didn't know how many people we were gonna have on. I didn't know how long we were gonna be going, and I didn't know if I was gonna have more than one story. So I started to go, this will go on too long and we'll end up having a long show. So by all means, go ahead and kick in the saxophone. I'm not done with what I'm doing here yet, but
Oh my God, need saxophone. The heat is on.
yeah, the
The
heat is
one you
on.
love.
Yep.
Huey Lewis, Hip to Be Square. Oh my God.
Yep.
Bob Seger, Turn the Page.
Yes.
Forgot Who Could It Be Now by Men at Work.
Oh yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Oh God.
Although that kicks in drum before, but that's and then there's a song "Zoom" by the Commodores. If you get a chance to hear it, it has a really, really great kickoff, or it sounds really good in the beginning. "In the Stone" by Earth, Wind and Fire, another song that Earth, Wind and Fire probably has a million intros that are great.
Oh, I'm sure.
But "In the Stone" is one of my favorites. If you hear it, you'll know it. But you probably don't know what song it goes to because they use the intro for a lot of things. And same thing with "Hollywood Swingin'" by Kool and the Gang or "Jungle Boogie." Those are two very distinct intros that you've heard and they've sampled and things like that. Especially
just bringing back more and more.
Especially "Hollywood Swingin'." That they probably have used that for 40 different songs. I know they used it for DJ Cool, "Let Me Clear My Throat." They've used it for a bunch of stuff. The Hollies. I love the sound of the beginning of the Hollies, "The Air That I Breathe." That's a really cool intro to me. Like I said,
The Air That I Breathe. I can't.
yeah, it starts with a guitar solo that I don't know how to explain it, but it's I don't know. I just love it. And one of the most for whatever reason I love this is the beginning of the Spice Girls "Wannabe." I just love the beginning of that song. I don't know why. But
I would not have picked that for you.
I mean, I'm a DJ, so they all I have all kinds of genres and stuff that I like, and I did love the beginning of that song. I'm like, do I love the whole song? I'm not really, but I do love the beginning of it. You know,
You really, really, really want a Ziggy Zig Pie. Okay.
yeah. So that kind of stuff. The beginning of "Oops, I Did It Again" is another great intro, even though a lot of people, I mean, Britney's classic at this point. So
yeah, I know.
So there's all kinds of, like I said, I could riff off of this. So those are the lists. Those are the lists I put together, and I said I'm going to stop there because I'm sure everybody else would be interjecting. And like I said, I thought we were going to
there's more.
I thought we were going to have 2 stories a piece and a whole extra person. 25 or 64 is great. There's almost every Chicago intro I can think of is great. "Beginnings" is one of my favorite.
Oh, you meant to sax. Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Yes.
That's the. I mean, you cannot
and
do that
Blues
without
Traveler. I mean,
those iconic True.
There's just it's almost like every band out there has this great intro, but like once you get going, it's kind of like, you'll start.
Well, how about "Sympathy for the Devil"?
Yeah,
Rolling Stones.
And that's mostly drums, right? So we can say that's mostly drums.
Yes.
Yeah, except for that
I'm like
little screams.
Now I'm trying to think like, okay, what iconic bands? Now narrow it down to that. We've covered most of them.
I mean, there's probably
like
should be more R&B in my list, but I went through the rock stuff, and then I got, like I said, I just petered out, got tired. So there's a lot of
you fell down the rabbit hole.
There's a lot of R&B intros that are amazing. And if I go back into, and like I said, Natural High was that kind of thing. There was a lot of Shy Lights and 70s soul that I'm thinking of Shy Lights. I'm thinking of the Staple Singers, and some of the
Oh
great
wow.
songs that they had back in the like early to mid '70s. The Five Stair Steps and bands like that.
Yeah, Ron, you
Right.
cannot do a
You
top
can't do
five
a
on
top five.
this.
And so, like I said, I started to go, let me see what the top are. And I'm like, oh, I can't. There's like, I'll have too much information. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to overwhelm the whole podcast with half an hour of my nonsense. But look, we're already like over half
No,
an hour in
please.
at this point. So, yeah, it's just a cool thing to have like this whole music library that you grew up to, and that you're
Absolutely.
out somewhere. I mean, it's the one thing I wanted to mention is that my friends that are DJs and I that are been DJs for years and years and years, decades, we talk about this like it used to be so easy to do a gig. Like you'd say, all right, somebody would say, all right, I'm going to do this wedding, and like everybody in the entire country was like on the same page about what the top 10 was, the top 40 was, and
Sure.
so it was so easy, not easy, but it seems easy in retrospect that we had the right songs for the event we were doing, whatever it was. And now it's kind of like every single person, because of the way that media is, and because everything is streaming, and people have their own playlists, Spotify, whatever. You can't even walk into a party at night, at least not for the younger kids. The older ones, it's obviously easy because we all grew up all night long. Yep. Running with the Night. There's a bunch of stuff by Lionel Richie. See, when you start, well, I mean, that brings me back to the Commodores. You know what I mean? And Brick House and all that kind of stuff. Because Brick House is another one with a
Oh
good
God.
drum intro. Like I said, we could,
And I'm looking. You have you two up there, and I'm thinking, wow, which song?
yeah, they're all. I mean, my
I
favorite
know
is
all of those intros.
it's When the Streets Have No Name. Always been my favorite intro for YouTube. But that
It's
doesn't
a good
mean
one.
that there aren't 5 or 6 more of them that
Hmm.
there's just too many. But
Pride.
it
There you
gets your
go.
brain going, right? And you say to right,
It does.
what are the things that I love when I'm out and about or when I'm just doing my thing and I hear an intro? What makes me stop? I forgot to mention the beginning of Sledgehammer because that's a big one, especially for Gen Xers.
Peter
They say
Gabriel.
that's our
Yeah.
mating call. You know, like we'll stop what we're doing and we're like,
Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer
no,
is.
meaning like maybe it's not a mating call, but it's like a every Gen X person when they hear it, just the beginning of that, they stop and they're like, wait a minute, I think I hear, it's just a song we all loved and we all recognize immediately. We all stop what we're doing. I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
and it's not the only one, but there's some of those for us
Oh hell no.
like that. And it just, the way that music is now is great, but it's real hard to nail down like a playlist if you're going to go out and do something, especially for younger
Oh,
kids.
absolutely.
So DJs are having like to figure out, okay, I need a streaming service that I have with me in case like somebody asks for something I don't have, or I need a list of every song these people want to hear before I even get there because like there's no way. And every kid, and if you do like a Sweet 16 right now or something with younger kids in their 20s, you
Yeah.
almost have to like each and every person in that place has their own list. It's not universal anymore like it was for us.
And they'll share it with you. Here you go.
Right. And so it's kind of like weird that it's almost impossible to hit like a sweet spot or hit a place hit a top 10, and although they do like some of the older stuff, but there's really
Yeah.
no like universal 10 songs that you can play at this thing that everybody's going to want to hear. You know what I mean? Every single one of them is going to have a different top list that they want. And so you could never make anybody happy as a DJ in one room, but now it's much worse. Right?
Oh, I can imagine.
So like I just did last week I just did a 50th reunion, which was great. A 50th class reunion. And so I got to play, in my opinion, a lot of songs that I never get to play other than when I was doing that Newport gig when I was doing a lot of like yacht rock. But
Yeah.
my list was 72 to 75, and so it's like I never go and do a list or a gig with those songs. Like I don't do a lot of Grateful Dead anywhere. You know what I mean? I don't do.
Well, you put on one song, you take a break, and you're
I
fine.
mean that's true, but like yeah, some of the stuff like Sugar Magnolia, some of those songs are just like you don't go out and play in a public place a whole lot, especially the charts back in the 72 and stuff like Al
Yeah.
Stewart. And I mean, who, like that stuff's cool to me. I love it. I know a lot of DJs are like, well, that's boring, but like I love playing stuff like I don't always play. Like, so yeah, that's it. And what I was listening to some of that stuff like earlier yesterday, and yeah, there may
Right.
not be, but this particular high school like Love the Dead. I think their biggest song
Well,
though
that goes
was
back to what you were saying.
yeah,
Yeah, not everything is for
right.
everybody.
I'm trying to think what their biggest song was now. Oh my goodness.
What Touch of Grey was
No,
the
no, it
one that
wasn't all.
started?
It wasn't all Grateful Dead. They had a couple songs they
Oh,
liked, but
okay.
they had one song that I can't even believe I don't remember right now. But this is their biggest song. I know that they
Hmm.
liked Three Dog Night, and so they liked a lot of stuff by them. But I'm trying to find out. There was one song that they wasn't You're So Vain. I think it was Maggie May. I think that was their big tune. That was what it was.
Wake up,
Yep. They
Maggie.
like the whole place went bananas. That was their big. I don't know if it's a class theme thing or for whatever reason everybody wanted to hear it and they wanted to hear it nice and loud. But yeah, it's. I think as a DJ, it's cool because you get such exposure to everything. When I started working in the '80s, believe it or not, that's how old I am. There were people that were still out and about and going to functions that were listening to the '40s. Like that was part of the
Yeah.
playlist. I was playing Patty Page, no joke. I
Oh
was
my
playing the
God.
Andrews Sisters, no joke. I was playing Glenn Miller, no joke. Because we had in the '80s,
Wow.
there were people at family functions that were 80 years old, 70 years old, and
Yes.
that was their music. So like that's how I started. And those people are all long gone now, but I got one heck of a like a lesson on
You got an
music.
education. Yeah.
And at that time, I think the '50s was kind of everybody that was in there that was 50 or 60, that was the stuff they wanted to dance to. So I don't know. It's good as a DJ
Yeah.
to learn as much as you can, and you get more of an understanding of where music comes from and like the evolution of it. So I don't want to go into a big long nerdy thing about that, but it's good to know your music. It's good to understand it. It is good to always, even
Hmm.
if you don't like the Grateful Dead, it's good to understand that some people do and appreciate that. Ron. And again, I'm not. I have a couple friends that are like wicked hippies, and I actually love.
So
I
do
love
I.
hippies. I love my hippie friends. I really do, and they love like canned heat, and that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think like the Grateful Dead, and I'm trying to think of some of the Little Feat, and some of those bands, and there's a whole genre for that, and there's a whole, you know what I
There
mean?
is.
So, whatever. It's just good to kind of know that no matter what you like, right?
It's funny because you started the segment, of course, with memorable song
Yeah.
intros, and we didn't even go. I mean, you touched a little bit of rap
Yep.
with California Love. There are so many other. There are Beastie Boys songs just like boom
Oh,
hitting my
absolutely.
head, going, why
Absolutely.
wasn't it in that? But going back, see, Danny's got it right. There are disco
Yep.
songs back there that start. You can't start the beginning of Saturday Night Fever
Right.
soundtrack on any song,
What about the Bay City
and
Rollers?
instantly. Oh,
I mean, that's one of the most memorable. It
SATURT.
may be a cheesy song, but it's one of the most memorable songs. You'll know it when you
It
hear it.
is.
And yeah,
And
disco.
we haven't talked about like Sinatra
Yeah,
or Elvis or I mean
exactly. Like it's just there's no way to like reel it in and make it any kind of organized list because I love it. I feel like I've been like I was born and raised in a time and with my parents and my grandparents even because my grandmother used to like uh what was the show that was on oh god let me think about it I'm
what
still you know what I mean the
I'm
uh
oh God.
yeah the waltz
Not the
show
one with the Beatles were on.
no the
And
waltz
Sullivan.
the one that Lawrence Welk
Lawrence
there you
Welk.
go.
Lawrence
Yeah,
Welk.
I was still waking up. My grandmother used to love Lawrence Welk, and I used to sit with her, and I can't, of course, you when you're like 5 or 6, you can't imagine a more boring thing to watch, but
Of course.
it still seeps in, and you still get the history from it.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
right, I think all of us kind of at one point where like we're being watched by our grandmothers, and we kind of had to sit in front of that and watch the bubbles, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, of
But
course.
it's such a great childhood memory, even though at the time we were just like, get me out of here. But then
Of course.
that's the kind of stuff that the Glenn the Glenn Miller stuff and the Stan Getz stuff and the, Louis Armstrong stuff and, Duke
Louis Armstrong.
Ellington and all of that kind of stuff. That is the foundation, at least for our generation. And coming up and going through that, like, I feel like we had one of the best music catalogs to learn from and listen to ever.
Yeah.
But that's not really true. That's really just more my that's my mindset because of it is. There's a psychological aspect to that, but
I tell my daughter all the time, and she likes a whole lot of music.
Yeah.
A little from here, a little from there.
Yep.
But when I play stuff from the '80s, I go, "What are you hearing here that you don't hear now?"
Mhm.
I go, what? Instruments.
Right.
I said, not everything is synth and pop and made to be perfect.
Right.
That's not what we had.
I mean, but we also did have that because the European music we listened to, that's what that was. A lot of MTV, and you know that MTV had so much European stuff on it because so many American artists didn't do any kind of video stuff.
Right.
So at one point,
R.I.P. MTV.
we got so much of what you call a second, like, European invasion or second England invasion that came along in the 80s with that new wave and all that kind of stuff, because MTV had to run something when they were running, and for whatever reason, European bands did more videos. They just were more interested in, or they were more technology savvy at that time. But all of that stuff, like, I'm trying to think. Oh my god, I gotta wake up. I wouldn't say Aha, because Aha was more they were Norway, but whatever some of those early English bands were that have like Bronx Ski Beat and all that kind of stuff. Those guys, I know. I wished I just pulled one out, right? Didn't I? But that kind of stuff, like, it became American music, so we listened to a lot of synthesizer stuff.
Howard Jones.
Yep, we had Howard Jones. We had
Erasure, and
yes, Erasure was one of my favorites. They had such good stuff. Let's not forget New Order, because New Order was big.
Oh God!
And some of those,
I hate to tell you, you could have all that stuff. Although I was in the club, dancing to it when the time came.
It was an influence, though. It happened, and it was around us, and we listened to it, and that Timbuk 3 and bands like that.
Oh my God!
I know. Don't even talk to me about it. I can get into some serious, like, one-hit wonder, like, obscure stuff. But yeah, all that stuff we learned because we sat in front of the TV and watched. MTV was the biggest thing back then, and
absolutely,
probably 3/4 of the music we watched was stuff coming from England, right? In Europe, and some of it was Boston, which is good. Like, I think Boston had a little more of their stuff together back then than most bands, and I think, like, the Talking Heads and some of those bands started to go, oh, I gotta get myself together and get some videos going here. And eventually everybody did it, but at one point, England was ready to go. They sent their stuff over, it was done. So, it's crazy though how
they usually take the lead.
I mean, yes, I guess so. But I never really thought about it until, like, I watched several MTV documentaries, and it was like, oh, we were running 24 hours a day, and we didn't have content. Like, we just didn't have content. We had David Lee Roth, and we had Talking Heads, and we had a couple other things. One of my favorites was Till Tuesday. I mean, Till Tuesday was such a great, Amy Mann, though she was from Boston, so it was a Boston girl. But we had 3 or 4 or 5 videos from the US, and they just had all these gaps, and it's like, we can't keep running 5 videos over and over again. Like, so.
Oh, and don't forget Pat Benatar. She was one of those 5 videos.
Pat Benatar was one of them. I'm trying to think. I think
very
Musical
early
Youth
on
was, but they also weren't from here either. Musical Youth was early. That first
Pass the Dutchie.
Yep, Pass the Dutchie. That was the first and last thing they ever did, but that was one of those videos that ran. I'm trying to think. That's so funny that we had a Ron will remember this. We had a channel called V66 here. Oh. And V66 was a Boston channel, but it was something that we could hear or we could watch. I'm sorry. It wasn't great or clear, but it was a video channel that was local, and I think we were out of Worcester or something like that. And
we had one of those too. That was like, oh, these are videos you're not gonna see on MTV, but they were from
Right.
bands you've heard of,
Yeah, we
sort of like B-side videos.
so many of us at one point like didn't have the cable structure to have like a cable box. And so, at least in my neighborhood, we didn't get cable. Like some of us didn't get cable till like mid 80s, and some people we knew that lived in other neighborhoods had it in like 81, 80. And so we had to go to other people's houses to watch stuff like that. So V66 was something you could get over the air, and then I started doing like Friday night videos because some people couldn't get videos any other way.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh,
and that was
a thing.
It was a thing. It was a thing. I think ABC ran that for a while. And that was probably 85. And even before, like at that point, videos had been out like 3 years at that point, or 4 years or something like that. But yeah, the very first videos that I could think of that were on any kind of thing in the early 80s. I think Aha was one of them. But again, Aha wasn't from here. I'm trying to think what was from here, and it wasn't very much. It really wasn't very much.
Oh my God, I'm just thinking that I don't even understand. They don't understand. People who are a certain age would not even understand that that's how we saw videos.
Yes.
Is if you didn't have cable at that point, you would watch Friday night videos, and you would, like an hour and a half show, see like 10 videos. Oh my God!
And it was like a show.
You had to watch.
And it was on, and they knew they captured. Listen, they got the ad sales from that, believe me, because all the kids were like home watching it, going, "I'm not going out until this is over."
Yep.
Also, even if you had cable, I guess in the early days of MTV, they didn't like they were some like basic markets they put that in, because I don't think they thought MTV was gonna actually fly. So there were some. I know New York had it right away because obviously they had, but not a lot of cable stations or areas picked it up at first, because they didn't know there was going to be any viewership. And then as it started to go crazy, do you remember the ad campaign? I want my MTV. Like call.
Yes.
I want my MTV. That's
call your cable company.
That's
exactly. I want my MTV.
That was a campaign
because
some kids didn't have it, or their cable channel, their cable boxes or companies wouldn't run it.
Well, here's Danny saying if you didn't have cable, you had to go to the roller rink to hear it.
Right, exactly. It's like it was so crazy back then to try to get what you wanted, that we had these little bits of, and then when MTV came through, like I said, for us MTV was like 85 or 86 almost. Because we didn't have cable TV. It wasn't so much MTV wasn't in our area. We just didn't have cable. But once we got it, we just like never left the house. I'm surprised I ever went to school or anything. Once we got it, it was like, oh my God, like I can't get up. I might miss a video, and then I had to wait like 4 hours to see it again or whatever. We also had at one point like a video request channel that came through, and I'm trying to think what the name of it was, but it was it was on your cable channel.
It wasn't TRL, I take it.
No, it was like that, but it was like you could call, and it was like a jukebox. It was video jukebox or video something like that. That was local for us. Maybe you guys didn't have it, but yeah, it's so crazy that ruled the country. The Midwest. That was the first time the Midwest, according to some people that I know out that way, actually got any kind of like music of any current nature. Because the Midwest was so far behind. So when they got MTV, then they finally got caught up with like the rest of the country. Because I think what was us, it was the East Coast, it was Miami, it was California. I think that's where like most of the music was happening at that time. Anyway, yeah, fun conversation. But think about it. What are your favorite, or what are your most memorable intros that like make you stop and take notice when you're somewhere when you hear them?
And now we're gonna move on. Finally,
I know. Now that it's
an hour in?
One story. Yep.
There we go. Everybody loves music. You know, it's something that people do, and part of what people do are the same things constantly. I mean, you wake up, you have your routine, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, you drink coffee, you look at your phone, you drive to work. How much of that did you actually think about, though? Have you ever driven your car someplace, get there, and then really have no memory of, I know I was driving,
right,
but I don't actually remember any of it?
Did you ever see Brain Games? They did a whole episode on
I've
that.
never seen. Is that a movie?
Brain Games is
or
a
a TV show?
It's like a science show. I forget what channel it was on. But Brain
Oh,
Games
I'd probably
it's
love
all
it.
about like how your brain works and why. And they did a whole episode on what your brain discards that it doesn't need because it's redundant. And they went
I'm
into
looking it up. I'm gonna watch it
I don't know
later.
if it's, like I don't know if it's still you'll see old episodes. You'll be able to find it. I just don't know if it's still running because it was on TLC or it was on the Science
Sure, I can find it
Channel
on a
or
streaming
whatever.
service somewhere.
So yeah, they talk about all that stuff about what your brain doesn't do and like why and yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no problem. They've done more research and find out that really 90% of your day,
Mhm.
you're not thinking at all.
Right.
There are no choices. It's all habit. You like to think that in your head, oh, well, I'm, in control of what I do. And for the most part, you are.
Mhm.
But you go into autopilot.
Right.
And so scientists tracked down a bunch of people,
Mhm.
and for a week, they were, what are you doing now? Did you actually think about it,
Right.
or did you just do it? And all these people, 88% of them said, you know what?
Mhm.
For most of, really like 90% of your day,
Mhm.
they said, I was on autopilot.
Yep.
I didn't do anything where I had to go and really think,
Right.
which is amazing because everybody has a different job.
Exactly.
But still, other than, when you do music,
Yeah.
are you pretty much came prepared with what you're going to do,
Right.
and you're going to put it on. I look all day at a computer and I go, oh, this needs to be adjusted. Okay. And I'm
in
sort
tech
of
support,
thinking,
so
Ron says he's always on autopilot.
yeah.
And it says it doesn't matter about your age, gender, marital status, any of the metrics that
if
you
you
can
have a
find in
brain,
this.
you qualify.
Everybody.
Right.
So there are a few that we know who probably don't, but because they don't have a brain.
Very
But
subjective.
that's why it's so hard to change, because you're not thinking.
Right.
So I was just, going off of this survey that they found.
Mhm.
So does that mean if you really try hard, if you really think, they say you think for about 10% of the day,
Right.
that you can change your entire life?
Yes.
That if you make it to, force yourself to go to the gym
Mhm.
every other day, until that becomes a habit and you're on autopilot,
Right.
then that's just something you're going to do.
Right. That's how a lot of people get stuff done, is they make habits out of things that they, Atomic Habits by James Clear is a good book. Put it that way.
Oh, I learned a lot of stuff from listening to you.
Wendy Woods.
And I write all of that stuff.
Wendy Woods is a psychologist also who wrote a book, Good Habits, Bad Habits. And she breaks down the literal science of what habits are, how they're built, why they work, why they don't, what's friction, what's non-friction. And so, you can make a habit out of winning the lottery if you play every night at a specific time and it becomes a part of what you do. At some point you'll hit, probably. You can't control everybody else.
Tonight, so
you can't control the universe, but you can control what you do. Stoicism is good like that too. That's another fun thing to practice.
I agree.
But yeah.
But when I read this, I thought, really 90% of my day I'm not even thinking. And then when I started, it got into my consciousness, I was realizing they were right. And I had to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized now that I decided to change how I interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to make more plans, because while you're doing the everyday things, because you can't go on autopilot if it's something different,
right.
If you have to be present,
right,
then you do have to think.
Right.
So I've decided once every 2 weeks, I want to force myself to go out, interact, do something different. And so far it's worked. I've been, more events with my friends, and I think I'm a little closer with them now than I was before. I'm trying to get the eating right and exercise thing down, where I don't just go to the store and go, well, this is what I get. This is what, no, think about, I'm going to be happy because I'm going to make this dish How can I make it better?
Right.
So instead of going on autopilot, I want you to go out there and do different modified things. I'm not even going to say different.
Mm-hmm.
Modify. When you're in the store, think about things. Don't just grab things.
Right.
Don't just, if you think about, oh, you know what, I haven't talked to so and so in a long while, drop them a line.
Well, that's what they
Call them,
say.
text
That's
them.
but I follow Vanessa Van Edwards too, and so she's like, well, you think of somebody, it makes no sense to not reach out right at that point, and then say, I've
Yes.
been thinking about you. Who doesn't want to hear that? Who doesn't want to get that message? So yeah, I do a lot of things by my phone because I don't want to lose. I have, like, what do you call it? Lack of object permanence. So if I'm not looking at something, I'll just lose track of it because
Oh,
if it's not in front of me, and if I get sidetracked by things, and if I don't have alarms on my phones to stop me and say, hey, don't forget this, don't forget that. And I have one friend right now that I'm like, I haven't seen in a long time. We caught up probably 2 years ago. I got back in touch with him,
uh,
and we've been talking. And I have a monthly reminder on my phone right now to send him a text or call him every month, and say, how you
good.
doing? What's going on? He's been not well, things like that. So it's like, there's people from my past that I don't want to lose track of, and we're living in the age, you, me, and Ron, where somebody will
Yeah.
pass away and you'll be like, I haven't heard that from that person in 2 years. And then you feel
Yep.
bad. Like, well, I wish I would have called, or I wish I would have. I mean, why go through that, right? Why not put that in your phone and have it come up? Hey, call this person.
Absolutely.
And then you retain at least somewhat regular contact with them. That way you don't. It's almost like, so you don't feel bad when you do lose them, because you can't keep everybody forever. That you're like,
Mm-hmm.
at least I talked to them, at least I kept in touch, at least I found out how they were doing. Whatever. You don't regret not reaching out. You can only control you, right? Anyway, sorry, I went into a tangent.
No, you're adding to the conversation. That's not a problem at all. Which, I mean, brings us to this podcast.
Right,
I do this podcast. I do another podcast as well. And these are things that force us to think a little bit,
right,
to go outside and go, ooh, I have to prepare for this. You have to find the things in life that are going to make it worthwhile.
right,
Nobody wants to say, oh, well, like you said, I haven't spoken to this person for a while.
right.
If you got on the phone with that person and they told you, well, I woke up, brushed my teeth and went to work, then I came home, made dinner, and that's my life.
Hmm.
What? I don't think you'd want to talk to them every month.
But I would still do it because that's them. I do. I love, for the people that I love hard, and I love them for who they are and exactly what they do. So I won't
Oh,
tell them what to do. I will say, this is this person's life, and it's important to me because this person's important to me. Would I live it that way? Maybe not, but that's them, right? So
I agree.
I do try to love people where they're at, unless they need something or they ask for something. Then that's different, right?
I've told people before when have you ever had somebody tell you, well, this is the problem with that person? Well, then why don't you just, walk away, or have you brought up this or that? I think that if someone is doing something that
Mm-hmm.
you don't like,
Right,
a close person in your life who you don't like, I have no right to tell them to
right,
change. If they would like to change, I would help you,
exactly,
but you have to either accept it or decide I can't be around that person
right.
because of this reason and
And
walk
that's your
away.
choice, and like you're influenced by who you're around, right? And
Yes,
so I think um somebody has to want to change themselves anyway. All you're really doing is causing
yes,
friction by trying to tell them to change. Now, if they're doing things that are harming people, like, you know, maybe they're into drugs, or maybe they're into bad people, or they're doing things that's
hmm
causing a risk to their life, they have children, things like that. Obviously, it's not your place to say, but you also want to make sure you don't condone it either, or you don't,
right.
codependent to it. Um,
You can bring it up.
but yeah, I have friends that are not like me. I mean, I'm weird, so I'm not like anybody. So maybe that's why I'm the way I am, because I don't have a lot of peers that act like I do. Most people are different than me by nature. So if I didn't love them for who they were, I would have a lot. First of all, I have a lot of nerve with them not liking me for who I am. I'd have a lot of nerve with that. I'd have to do it because I want it. It's from them,
Right.
so it's not fair to make them do what I'm doing or whatever. But also, it I, I don't know. I think that if you love somebody, you care about them, or you're close with them, then you want to know, you want to look at things in their way when you speak to them, because it's, I don't know, I'm not sure if I got my words right, but because it's
Okay.
in my opinion, I focus on them. I don't like focus on me anyway. Also, I don't care if I focus on me, so I like focusing on somebody else when I'm talking to them. And what was that? Michael said he isn't like other guys in the Thriller video. Well,
He's bringing back the Thriller video now, which I hope everybody watched yesterday.
Yes,
for
of
Halloween.
course. There was a whole section, I think, where John Landis had a conversation with Michael Jackson about that. So you can go find that and watch it. It's interesting. But yeah.
But going back, I mean, there were two specific things that come up to me on that about changing, and one is when I was before I got divorced. Obviously, you're separated. And a friend of mine, I'm not a religious person at all. And a friend of mine said, I want you to go and hear this reverend speak. And I said, okay, not a problem. And he was telling stories about difficulties in his own marriage and how he resolved them. And I walked up and I told him I enjoyed his speech. And I said, look, I'm having issues. This is going on for quite a while. When do you know that it's time to call it quits? And he looked at me and he said, well, you made a vow. You should never call it quits. And I walked away and I thought, that is the worst advice I have ever heard in my entire life. If and I'm this had nothing to do with mine, but if, like you said, if someone's hurting you, if there are outside forces, alcohol, drugs, gambling, bad things where you've tried to help that person and they don't want to change, and like we said, fine. If you don't want to change, the only thing you can change is I'm leaving that environment.
Right. And that's the only thing you have control over, right?
Yes.
See,
this is what we're talking about. Putting yourself in situations where you have to think and control and not doing the same thing every day.
Right. I mean, I know it's for some people it is, and I grew up with it, so it's easier to like just put it off and hope it's going to change and hope it's going to change and hope it's going to change, which is also a habit and an autopilot thing to do. It causes it's easier. It's more of a soothing situation because you don't have to take action. You don't have to inconvenience yourself. There's a lot of things that come with that, right? And as anybody that's been through some of the stuff that my mom went through and some of the stuff that some of my friends have gone through, I get, saying it's too much to try to get myself out of the way of this. Or it's too much to it will make everything different. It will turn my world upside down. There's a lot of things that you have to think about, and it's true that it will upend your life. So it's valid to be worried about that.
But your life isn't working right now, so why not
as much cult experience, or not experience, I don't have experience, but as much cult research as I've done, I've learned that once people decide that anything like death is better than whatever they're going through, that's when they make a move. Because they're like, I don't really care. And when they go through things like cult stuff and abusive stuff and things like that, where they're just like, I'd much rather be dead than go through this anymore. Like that kind of thing. And they mean it. That's when they'll start to say, okay, I don't care if I leave now because I don't care about the consequences of that now because and a lot of times with abusive relationships, like sometimes that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but also you have to weigh out what you're looking at and say what's worse, right? So yeah, it's I
don't fear the Reaper.
Don't fear the. I'm not sure. Cult of Personality and those are two songs that have good intros. Is that what we're doing there? Are we back to that?
I think Ron has wrapped us up into,
He's
hey, it's
doing
time to
his.
wrap up. You said you wouldn't go over an hour, and you did again.
I know. I
So
know.
here is something that I want you
Mhm.
to get into. Get into the routine of watching the Going On Daily Live
There
morning
you go.
show
Make it a
because
habit.
we are on 6 days a week. You can go on social media and you can see us. Uh, let's see, go to the RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net website and you will see where you can see us everywhere. Also, Lena, you want to give yourself a plug?
Sure. Lena DJ Lena DJ Lena Williams on Facebook or my page, which is DJ Lana DJLANA. And then
You could see,
we're
oh,
still
sorry.
doing we're still I'm still rounding out how we're gonna do the podcast that we've been doing without Dave. So that's gonna be LenaandDave.com. You go there, you'll see everything you need to see, and we'll go from there.
There we go.
Mhm.
You still have the old episodes up there,
I
right?
do. All the old episodes are still up.
There you go.
All the platforms, everything's on that page. So
For us, I have the Circling the Drain podcast, which you can also listen to on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network.
mhm.
But you can also go to CTD Podcast or Circling the Drain podcast on everywhere. You could see on the screen, there's the YouTube page. We also have, God, TikTok and all the social medias. I'm not going
Yeah.
to, bore you. By the way, I have to thank Ron. I have to go out of my way for this. I went to a costume party
Okay.
and I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I like to combine things. I went as a party animal where I was a tiger, but with a party hat and a beer.
Right.
I like to combine things. And it hit me. I was going to combine social media and social butterfly. So it was a social media butterfly. I bought butterfly wings, antenna,
Hmm.
and I realized for social media, I had to find all the different social media platforms and put it on my wings. So I just went to everything that we are on the Rhode Island network. And I'm like, oh, MeWe, Parlor, Blue Sky, this, that, the other. So thank you, Ron, for giving me that.
Oh, nice.
Tomorrow, according to Ron, they're kicking off holidays week. But we're not talking like Thanksgiving, Christmas. We're talking like sandwiches, deviled eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Those were only the few that I saw on there. So be here with Ron and Kenny tomorrow on behalf of Lena and myself. Thank you for hanging out
Oh,
with us.
food week.
I hope you had fun. Okay. It is technically food week.
Hmm.
Okay, that's fine. Remember to join us because if you need some fun, we've got it going on daily. Bye.